Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Goddess Tree of Here. Goddess Tree of Here. Y'all, I can't talk today. Okay, before we get into it, I just want to welcome everybody who is new to this channel. Welcome to The Vibes. We vibe in everything from beauty to lifestyle to fashion over here. Thank you for joining my community and welcome again. We in mood over here, okay? So come on. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the post notifications bell so that you are notified when I upload content. Follow, like, share, subscribe. Again, I just felt the need to say it twice. I don't know why. First things first, I wanted to make this video to add a little bit of transparency on my channel. I want a community that's built on trust. I want a community that's built on honesty. And most importantly, I just want a community that is just built on a nice foundation of realness. I love the beauty. I love the makeup. I love the hair. I love all of that. But this is an issue that I've dealt with for about a little bit over 2 decades. And it's not easy for me to talk about it. I actually do better when I don't talk about it, but it is there. This video is going to be about what happened to my smile and why is there a discoloration problem along with a couple of other things. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to actually show you guys and zoom in on my teeth to show you what happened to my teeth a little bit in the middle of this video. But first, I want to just tell you the story of what happened to my teeth and kind of the background. And this is for anybody, male or female, that's struggling with their smile, who wasn't born with a pretty smile or what people deem as a normal smile. This video is for you. When I was a baby, I was my mother's first child, and that this motherhood was something that's new to her. If you're someone's first child, that's new, that's fresh. You have to kind of learn. Life doesn't really come with a handbook or nothing like that. So, and now that I'm an adult, my mother gave me kind of the backstory of like what really happened and what went down with my teeth so that I am more knowledgeable on my smile and I can actually go forward in the right direction to fix it. So when I was a baby, I was stuck with the sippy cup almost like I would say 80% of the time. And what was in the sippy cup ranged from like probably Kool-Aid to juice, or punches or etc., or milk, whatever the case may be. But I kind of took to sugar, and I would clown if I did not have, any juice or anything that was like heavily infused with sugar. So what that did was I would fall asleep with the sippy cup in my mouth, and that actually started to stain my teeth. I believe I was suffering from acid erosion, if I'm saying that correctly. And by the way, I'm not a dentist. This is just some of the things that I made myself a little bit knowledgeable in and looked up. So don't quote me, but definitely acid erosion was something that I saw where I guess the sugar eats away at the enamel. I would say the harsh staining didn't even really happen until the next phase of what I'm about to tell you guys. So when I was like 7 years old, I think I got into an accident. I'm not sure what the accident was specifically, but I know I like really hurt myself, and whatever I collided into, my mouth hit it. So as a result, my two front teeth split in half or like chipped in half, each one. So I was basically like snaggled tooth. So mother ended up taking me to the dentist, long story short. And I remember her, and this part I definitely do remember, y'all. Like I said, we're cozy here. I'm getting nice and like cozy with y'all. We gonna have a little moment. I do remember very clearly when I was at the dentist, my mother asking questions, just to, gain more knowledge in what was going on with her daughter's teeth. So, I was all ears because this is something that's going to potentially impact my smile or my future. And yes, I may have been 7, but I still understood, like, okay, I didn't fully understand, but I still had some knowledge of like, okay, this is about my teeth. So the dentist told my mother that kids get into accidents all the time. It's normal for the teeth to chip and, do its thing like that. Accidents happen. But he ended up telling her that my enamel was severely worn away. It was actually spots where my enamel was just not developed at all. And he could tell. And, he looked at her and he turned to her and he was like, I'm going to be real with you. you know, when her adult front teeth come in, there is a 100%, or at least he said like a 90 to 100% chance that I was going to have stained teeth because the enamel was not developed fully in both two front teeth because of the acid erosion that potentially occurred. If you're not familiar with the enamel is a part of the tooth that is definitely needed. It is needed because the enamel is actually the structure of the tooth that covers the dentin. Now, if you're not familiar with the dentin is, I'm going to actually attach these up here. So the dentin is basically the layer that you do not want to show. That's the layer you don't want to see. You know what I mean? But both layers are essential in our anatomy. That's just how we're made and created. So the dentin is basically that brown slash yellow part of the teeth of the tooth that is really not supposed to be cosmetically visual, if you know what I mean. So the fact that, he's telling my mom that the enamel is ate away at, it's just gone 100% in most places of her on her teeth. When she gets older, we're going to have to address that cosmetically and, circle back and kind of figure out some options to alleviate that. Sure enough, um, the staining did happen. I really never had any. I didn't lose teeth a lot. Even my baby teeth, like I just haven't lose. I even still have some of my baby teeth now in my mouth, but I remember it was like brown. And I believe that I lost some of those files of how my teeth were, but I am going to try my best to pull up the pictures. It just looked like I drunk coffee for probably 18 decades. That's what it looked like. That's what it gave visually. So, the bullying in middle school and elementary school was intense. I've been called everything from, I've heard it all, child, from buttered teeth to cheesy teeth, or I've had my teeth be compared to cheese. I've always been asked or treated as I just never picked up a toothbrush a day in my life because kids are cruel, and that's just kids' nature. They're naturally fearless. They don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not making excuses for kids. Of course, when you get to a certain age, there's just no excuse to be an ass. So, you know, I definitely dealt and had my fair share of hate speech about my smile, just very, very cruel things that, that were said to me. They're seeing something in their head that is actually unfamiliar to them. They're not really realizing that, you know, this is something I really didn't have any control over. I basically crawled into a cocoon, guys, just to keep a long story short. Your smile is the first thing someone sees when they look at you. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't really just do this all day and just talk like that. You know what I'm saying? There's just no way to really kind of camouflage it. I wasn't, and I always found myself having to defend myself against, ignorant comments or things that were just said about me, whispered about me, etc., and all of that. Around 14, 15 years old, I really just crawled into a cocoon. That's when I became like a heavy video gamer, like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, you name it, wrestling games, SmackDown versus Raw. That was just my jam. Like I rather go into another reality at that point in time and just really tune everything that I was going through out and just submerge myself in this virtual reality of video gaming. Like that's how um, broken I kind of was as far as my confidence and me as a person and as a woman. It got to the point where all I did was eat, shower, video game. And it's like when it came to school, it was like, okay, I'll put in the effort, but it's like I truly did not want to even be in reality because I knew that my reality consisted of a little bit of bullying, it consisted of name calling, and it consisted of drama, it consisted of things that I just really was so non-confrontational. My unbotheredness comes with a really strange sense of coldness that I cannot even explain. So it's like I just really entered a phase where I just didn't give a fuck about anything. I was not having it. I was extremely unhappy with having to explain to people, even in my family, having to explain to people like, listen, I cannot control my two front teeth. Do you want me to scrub until they bleed? Do you want me to peel the bone off? There's no way I could fix this. I can't fix this. I would say in middle school, a little bit of the, name calling was still present, but I definitely would say I found my tribe. of people who accepted me and loved me for who I am. I'm still best friends with one of them still to this day. And shout out to you, Dari, if you're watching this. I freaking love you, bro. Like, I love you. Me and my mother kind of powwowed and we came back to the table with, okay, now that I'm older, what can we cosmetically do about my smile to fix it? So I went to a dentist in Griffith, Indiana, which was an amazing dental office. I think they had two main doctors. One was a female and one was a male. The male was super, super sweet and very, very helpful. And first things first, he's like, okay, you got some cavities. We want to get rid of the cavities. Long story short. And I'm like, okay, cool. And at this time, I'd say I was about 16 years old. Either way, I know I was going into my junior year in high school at this point. I was actually asked to come to junior prom. I was asked by my whole little clique of friends. They're like, hey, yo, we getting a party bus. Let's hit it. Like, I know it ain't our prom yet. We're not seniors yet, but let's go to junior prom. So I instantly was like, ooh, I want to go, but I really want to go to the dentist even more to just see if I can get this problem rectified before junior prom, because I just really wanted to have one day. I just wanted to have one day where I experienced what people deemed a normal smile. You know what I mean? And already, I had the discoloration problem, but I was also suffering from overbite. I still have an overbite, and I also have crowding and crooked teeth where my two front teeth veers to the right. So that's basically three things that I have to worry about. You know what I mean? But I would give anything to actually have the discoloration like gone. You know what I mean? So that's where I was mentally at that point in time. So I remember going to the dentist in Griffith, Indiana, and the male dentist, he was like, as far as what we can do for your two front teeth with the discoloration is, I would suggest a bleaching session. And we were like, okay, cool. Like, how much would that be? He was like, that would be about, basically, it was almost $400. But, my mom worked very hard and she's always been a hard worker. My grandmother, she suffered from a drug addiction problem. And so it's like we would get night and day with my grandmother, but that's a whole nother story, child. But you can never ever say that she didn't come through and like fill in gaps or help me or help my mother's children, her grandchildren whenever she saw fit. My mom just didn't have, 400 to like drop like that. Like, you know what I mean? I had to like tell her like this is the price that he said it was for the bleaching, you know, are you able to help me with that? So she got that for me. She was like, I want you to have a nice junior prom. She was like, we are going to pay for this bleaching. Let's just see what this bleaching do. Basically, he does the bleaching and I'm just like, okay, Messiah, just rough it. It's for the greater good. It's for a good cause. You're going to get up out of this chair with a bleached and more beautiful smile. Even if you have crooked teeth still, it doesn't even matter, but you're not going to have this problem anymore. So I'm sitting in the chair and I just remember like dealing with the discomfort. It wasn't unbearable. It just was not painless fully. I definitely felt extreme sensitivity and it was just like, oh my God. So he finished the bleaching. I looked in the mirror and there was no difference. I remember looking in the mirror and was like, I paid 300 I paid almost $400 and there's barely any difference. There was still yellow. There were still yellow stains. The browning was basically lightened to a yellow. Basically, it was not a huge difference. You definitely still saw discoloration. And I just remember, I kid y'all not, I just started bawling. Like, I'm talking about flat out the ugly cry, like snot, tears, you name it, it was coming out. He looked at me bawling my eyes out and he was just like, he just immediately felt so bad. He didn't even know what to do. And I could tell he just kind of like paused. He just really didn't know how to deal with me just not being happy with the result. I was never trying to be ungrateful, but I just really thought that I was going to get a different outcome. And I know that my family did not have that money and it wasn't easily accessible. So the fact that we kind of hustled and got that, for it to be little to no difference, made me extremely sad, overwhelmed, and just defeated all over again. I remember going outside. My grandmother came to pick me up. I ran to her just crying. And he sent the hygienist out towards the back door. I remember we were at the back of the dental office where the parking lot was. She came outside. She was like, could you please come back in? We want to work something out. We do not want you to leave like this. Clearly you are upset. just come back in. Let's find another solution because I'm not gonna stop at not fulfilling what you came to our dental office to achieve. So, me and my grandmother walked back in there. She was kind of pissed. She was kind of like, are you serious? So I was still coming with the tears. He said, look, when is your prom? I said, my prom is in less than 7 days. And at this point, I think it was a Friday. He was like, listen, come back Wednesday. I'm going to do a little finesse. I'm going to basically put a resin, or I think it's a composite resin overlay over your teeth, and just basically give you a nice overlay and just really cancel out that smile. He just really wanted to rectify this situation. So I remember coming back Wednesday, he did the overlay and I loved it, y'all. I loved it. It completely canceled out the yellow. And if you're not familiar with what a resin is, it's basically like you can kind of manipulate the shape of the tooth also. So it even made my teeth appear a little bit straighter when he did it. But of course, if you look closely, you can still see that my teeth were veered to the right. But baby, when I tell you I did not have that issue, so he basically just gave me a warning, like, don't drink any coffee, don't drink any tea. To this day, I've never been a coffee drinker, y'all. Like, coffee is like, I think I have PTSD. If I drink coffee, it's going to make it worse. And this may not be a big deal to others, but it's always a big deal to me because it's something I'm dealing with, right? So I remember going to prom, celebrating, basically the fact that I have this overlay. I don't have the yellowish, the brown stain anymore. I'm just completely like overjoyed. He did tell me that that would last a year. And fast forward, once the year passed and it wore off, I really got impatient because, I'm a dream chaser. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a model and everything like that. So after I got the overlay, that's when I really got passionate about becoming a model in the fashion industry and really developed a true fondness for beauty, makeup, art, and all of that. So fast forward, I ended up, kind of doing some research and seeing what I could do to kind of avoid going to the dental office and paying for this composite resin to be restored again. I did not have the money for it. I was just working a regular retail job. I didn't, you know, I just didn't, I didn't have it. If you're familiar with dental, like cosmetic work, I'd say 99.999% of the time, insurance is just not going to cover cosmetic work. It's just not. Like, you're going to have to come with the bag like every time. I know that I wanted to go to California in 2019, and I'm like, oh man, California is a lot more bigger. It's a lot more competitive with the modeling industry. I did not want to go with this issue. Like, I just didn't. So what I'm about to say next, do not try this at home, and please do not do what I did because you're impatient and you're back against the wall and you feel like you don't have any other options, because that's how I felt. And I'm not making any excuses, but I ended up doing something that was it just wasn't wise because I'm not a professional in dental work. So I don't even see why I did it. But hey, I'm human. And part of being human is making mistakes. I ended up ordering something off of eBay in 2019. It was called Prime Dent, and basically it's like your little at-home composite resin kit. It comes with the etching gel, other things that I did my research on that I became familiar with. And I put that on my tooth when I basically flew out here in LA, my first week in LA. I decided to do that. And I was in the Airbnb at the time with my cousin, and I ended up kind of like playing with my mouth and putting that on my tooth. And I did it, and it was decent. It definitely covered my yellow stains again. And I was back to, I was back to my little happy ways. But unfortunately, some of the pieces started to chip off, and some of the pieces were actually stuck. So I'm going to show you the result of that now. I still have the browning issue and the yellow issue, but now I'm also stuck with a bulkiness that I cannot get rid of. It has to be shaven off. Basically, I still have a little bit of leftover resin on my teeth from when I did it that I shouldn't have never did. I told my new dentist now, my new dental office is in downtown Los Angeles, and I told them everything. I ran the story back to them, so we kind of made up a plan. And I'm just gonna show you guys my smile And again, this is a transparent moment. I want all the people out there who have issues and imperfections to know that no one's perfect and the internet is the biggest deceiver, child. So this is the left side. And as you can see, there's browning, there's bulkiness, and some of this is that composite resin. This other side, and you can see the staining is severe, and I have a browning and the yellowish stains, and it is just not. Sorry, y'all. Uh, that is my smile. Oh, we ain't finna be crying on camera, but yeah, just cut that. Okay. Yeah, that's my smile. I developed a plan with my dentist. This hold on, y'all. Let me blend this. Hold on. We can't be doing all the crying on camera, y'all. We can't. I'm really trying. I'm really trying. Cool, okay. But I have a plan with my dentist now, and my current dentist, we came up with a solution that I think is best feasible for me. You know, she kept it real with me. She was like, you know, you do have a lot going on. They don't feel comfortable putting or placing the veneers on my teeth when they're so crooked and veered to the right because they're just going to break. And I'm not going to, why spend all this money for a new set of veneers if they're just going to break and I'm not going to correct the smile. So first things first is she's going to shave off this leftover resin that is on my teeth, as you guys can see. Once they get off this leftover resin, they're going to go in with some temporary veneers. So the temporary veneers are going to be on my two front teeth, and they're basically going to finesse my smile so that I have a nice smile while I do my Invisalign. And so my Invisalign is going to go over my temporary veneers, and I'm basically going to be treating two problems at once, killing two birds with one stone. I'm going to have a nice, decent coloration and smile aesthetically while I correct my overbite and my crowding of my teeth. So I'm really excited for that. So my plan of action is to have the Invisalign and get the temporary veneers. We discussed pricing and everything like that. And, you know, my little girl comes first, and she's always going to come first, even before me, even before anybody. She is my first priority. Okay. And I'm just really trying to basically come up with what I need so that I could advance onto the next phase of my life and celebrating the fact that I can actually, I don't know, like have a new smile and just see what opportunities may come with that. I'm not saying that my smile hindered every opportunity for me, but I would and I would like to be more curious to know that like let's just be real, you know, we live in a three-dimensional world. On this three-dimensional plane, things that are materials run this plane. At least that's what I believe. And I'm just really excited to I'm about to turn 26, and I will get to experience the rest of my 20s, going into my 30s with a different smile. So I'm actually looking forward to something like that. I am a mother of one, and she requires a lot because she's always going to be entering a new phase. She's one, about to be two, she's a toddler. So, you know, I'm always going to put her first, and I'm definitely not ashamed to say that I wanted to just go out on a whim and create a fundraiser for my teeth. I'm going to have my GoFundMe fundraiser in my description box if you want to donate or care to even donate to my cause. $5, $10, $50, doesn't even matter. I made this video for people who have flaws, for people who know what it's like to be called names or have your feelings hurt, or basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, this is definitely for the underdogs. Everybody who has experienced the underdog story, this is for you, because I know what it's like to be an underdog. I know what it's like to be in a space where your confidence is shot to hell because of everything that has contributed to chipping away at it. You know what I mean? You know, my mother, thank God, and you know, the people around me, my best friend, he definitely contributed to building my backbone, you know. And then in the modeling industry, you have to have a backbone either way, because you cannot pursue an industry like that, an industry that's known for being a little vain, let's be honest. I always still didn't let this stop me. I always chased my modeling career. I've gotten paid work, I've gotten runway work, I've gotten print work with this smile. You know what I'm saying? You know, So I'm really curious and excited and very optimistic. And I wanted to create this video and dedicate this video to my channel and put this out there for others to see and watch. And I'm here to let you know that nobody's perfect. Nobody perfect. Everybody got something wrong with them, whether they want to tell you or not, whether you can see it or not. All in all, I say all of this to say thank you for watching my story, and I hope that this inspires anybody. I never was the one to care for anybody who took pleasure in others' pain. There's a lot of unknown and unforeseen factors and bad energies that's here present in this three-dimensional realm that we are in. However, it is up to you and only you to create and build your own version of your reality that is not delusion, that is strictly real. What I mean by build your own reality is you control your choices, you control everything that puts you in alignment with whatever it is that you are wishing to receive. Those, I have to address it, for those people who like to leave comments under my videos like this. Yeah. Yeah, if you're truly bothered, by my smile, you to see that I have spacing and crowded teeth and, what did he say? It looks like the Grinch, yeah. I don't know if I'm giving Melina from Mortal Kombat when she takes off the mask. Whatever y'all got in y'all arsenal to come at me with, I just want to let y'all know, if you are so bothered with my smile, I urge you to click that link in my bio and donate whatever it is that you can. Either way, that link is in my description box to my GoFundMe and my fundraiser for my teeth and my smile. Like I said, anything helps. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love y'all. Peace, blessings, light, prosperity, abundance, you name it. I'm shooting it your way. I will see you in the next video. Until then, be safe, y'all.